I don't think comedy gets enough credit for being an art form. It's one of the hardest things to do. They say that one of the biggest fears is public speaking. Well, we're public speaking and trying to get laughs.
Would you welcome to the stage your host for Mark Pitta and Friends, Mark Pitta.
Hi, how are you?
I don't like feeling older. All my friends my age look great. You know why? They're blurry. That's why.
I'm Mark Pitta, and I host Mark Pitta and Friends every Tuesday at the Throckmorton Theatre in lovely downtown Mill Valley. We've been doing it now for over 9 years. I book the show, I host the show. I'm an impresario 2.0 in that regard.
It was so cold in Marin County today. I saw a liberal lighting a fire during Spare the Air Day. That's how
I got the idea because I got fired, and I had nothing else to do. It's politically incorrect, the whole thing. I asked Lucy Mercer, who runs the theater, can I do a show here? Luckily, Robin Williams and Dana Carvey are friends of mine, and they would drop by in the early days to get the buzz going. So it got to be a community thing where people go, it's a great date night. You might see somebody you haven't seen before, you know. So it took off like gangbusters.
Did you ever get so far into debt that you came like this close, no more like this close to considering prostitution? I mean, it's nothing I'd ever do in a million years, but just if I could get back pay from the people I've already been with.
I like watching those news magazine shows in the morning where they invite people on and wish them a happy 100th birthday. Those people ever look happy to you? Hey, you're 100. Tell us, what's your secret? I can't die. It's always packed. It's unbelievable. Every Tuesday. Comedy clubs wish they could do this well.
What Mark's created is like a party that everybody wants to come to.
I'm in this cupcake store. The cupcakes are $3. The gluten-free cupcake is another 50 cents. Wouldn't you think by leaving out the gluten, they'd pass the savings onto you, the consumer? Wouldn't? When you're in the theater, it's more civilized. You know, people sit and they listen, and you get spoiled by doing stuff like this, because then you go back to a club, and people are dropping checks and dropping drinks and, you know, talking, and it's horrendous.
The Carno Vaudeville Company came through here and used this theater to do their shows. If you do research on the Carno Company, Charlie Chaplin was part of that, and Stan Laurel. That's a great history for comics. I don't know why the Bay Area breeds talented comedians, but they have since the 60s. Mort Saul, Smothers Brothers, Cosby, Lenny Bruce. And then there was a lull, and then the late 70s, early 80s, that it happened again. And then Comedy Tonight happened in KQED.
On Comedy Tonight.
Anybody who was in San Francisco doing comedy was on that show.
San Francisco original, Bob Fyron.
There's a spark of who we are now back then.
I grew up here. I never really fit into a lot of things that were happening in the 60s because I was...
Remember the Tommy's joint in the city? Tommy's joint, the only restaurant I've been to where the guys who carved the meat look like the meat they carved.
What's great about running your own room is that you can book your friends, because when you all become headliners, you never see each other again, because you're all headlining.
How would you welcome Dana Carvey?
So if I haven't seen somebody in a long time, I'll call them up, you know, just because I want to see their act, you know.
Matthew McConaughey, ha, ha, ha. Christopher Walken would say, don't know. Don't. No. Talk like Michael Caine. You can't go down like a stutter step.
I can really write material, a lot of material, quickly with this theater.
What?
I think that top names as well as up-and-coming names, they're all aspiring. You can command an audience of thousands at high ticket values and things like that, but where do you get to try? If you're a creative individual, where do you get to try out the material?
Why did God only make one son? Couldn't he have made more than one son? Because then they could pick who wanted to be the Messiah. Jesus would have had the opportunity to go, I don't really feel like being the Messiah. Could Doug do it? That's surprising. I don't want to squash that. I didn't know you bloody liked that joke that much.
There's been so many nights here where I go, wow, that's the most connected I've ever felt to myself as a stand-up, where the voice, the critical voice is completely silent.
But you know, when you think of evolution, you look back when there was just like a worm, maggot, kind of cockroach, marsupial in some kind of weird clay, and it was just like... And from that, you get John Lennon. I just want to know.
A lot of stuff was complete, never said before. Like from this, you get John Lennon. I love that they got that, you know.
Duchesne told me to book you. I'm very grateful that when I was starting out, there were a lot of clubs in San Francisco that supported new comics. I don't see that happening as much now because it's more of a business, get the butts in the seats, and so the newcomers don't really have a lot of stage time. I just want to treat people like I was treated back when I started.
I don't even want to prevent Alzheimer's disease. That disease is there when you're 80 for a reason, right? It's so you can relax.
There's sort of a separation between the young comics and the comics of the golden age. But with Throckmorton, you get to talk shop with legends.
Lucy and what she's done with this theater, it kind of pulled a lot of us retailers out of the bad recession. I bet half of the 300 people in there are here every week.
Yeah, that was right.
We gave up couples counseling and took up comedy instead.
You know, everybody wants that gathering together. Everybody wants that experience in a dark theater, and then you go back and you know, live your lives.
We're gonna keep doing this. It's tradition. Thank you. Good night.
Man, it's cold out there.
It's so cold. I saw a flasher stop a woman and just describe himself. It is so cold. I saw a bird putting a worm in a crock pot. That is cold.